Edge, your daily holistic insight for injury-free success. I'm Rita Rózsás. Today I brought you a very scary topic. Today I brought you some very scary statistics, not to scare you, not to stress you out, not to project anything negatively into you, but to get a little bit of a reality check. Because if we don't check reality, because if we bury our heads into the sand, nothing is going to change. So let's have a little bit of a reality check of what's going on injury-wise across Europe and here in the UK as well. Let's see what's actually working and what's not working, which is actually the most part of it, which is not working. And at the end, I'm going to give you the most important tip, the most important advice, what I can give you, what anybody can give you at this stage, how to prevent these career-threatening, career-ending injuries. So let's start with these statistics. In the 2023-2024 season, so the previous season, there were, are you ready? 4,123 injuries across the top 5 European teams. 4,123 injuries across the top 5 only, top 5 football teams in Europe. This is a 4% increase compared to the previous year. Out of these 4,123 injuries, there were 915 here in the Premier League across the whole teams. 915 injuries in a 2023-24 season. Season is just 9 months, not even a whole full 12 months. Within 9 months, there was 915 injuries, which is the average of 45 injuries per teams per season. If you go down to the individual level, it means around 1.8 injuries per season, which means between 1 or 2 or around the average were 2 major injuries. It's not like a little kind of bumping in there, a little bit of a blood in here. There were 2 major injuries per player, per team for one season. I found these statistics absolutely unbelievable. And the funniest one is team ball sport, which is like football, handball, those team sports playing with balls, count around 40% of hospital-treated sports injuries. And obviously the number one is football. So across all the sport branches, football is the number one, accounting 40% of all hospitalized injuries within a season. So if we just stay at the Premier League, 915 injuries per 9 months across all these 20 teams. And that means 2 major injuries per individual per season. These are just absolutely unbelievable. You know what's the most frustrating part is for me? Knowing what I know is just frustrating to me, and that's why I'm shouting it from the rooftop as well. The majority of these can be prevented. I'm not that naive to admit that it's not going to be any kind of injuries anymore, because this is just naivety. What you can do is to pay attention to prevention much rather than putting the fires out, much rather than rehabilitation. Let me give you some general advice, what they advise you. So you have this ton of injuries. If you ask Man United, if you ask Newcastle last year, if you ask Tottenham this year, there are a ton of injuries in there, and that's why they are not performing in a level as they could if they had much more or many more healthy players. But do you know what are the general advice, what they advise you in order to prevent injuries? Look at this. Warm up and cool down. Well, really, you didn't know that you have to warm up and cool down. Do some strength trainings. Use appropriate equipment. Watch for the techniques. These are the general advice, what they give you in order to prevent injuries, which is insane. These are not going to work. These are way too general. And not to mention what they say is you are going to get injured because that's what you do. That's what everybody almost expects you because you are a professional footballer, you are a professional athlete. There is a higher probability, yes, to get injured, but it is not foretold. It is not your destiny. It doesn't equal if you are a professional athlete, you are supposed to get injured. You should get injured. It is not the case whatsoever. So there is some kind of shift of the mindset should be going on because being a professional athlete does not equal my tongues. So being a professional athlete does not equal that you are necessarily should get and will get injured. It's not if you are cautious and if you are going to take up my advice on it. So what they actually say on top of these general advices that proper training and the advancement of medical support will help with injuries. I'm sorry to be the bearer of a bad news, but they are not. Technical advancement are so high now. You have all of these gadgets helping you, but injuries are up by 4%, which is a lot, which is quite very high. And the advancement of medical support only comes when it is too late. Medical support comes when something has already happened. Medical support is not designed for prevention. It is designed to help you rehabilitate in order to be much more or much less susceptible for the next injury. But these are just not good advice whatsoever. What you need is prevention. What you need to pay attention, what you need to focus on, what you really need to keep in mind that prevention is much better than rehabilitation because you have one body. If you get injured in that body, you can be put together how you were, but there will be some discrepancies from that on. There will be some weaknesses on that joints, on that area of your body from that on. That's why you are actually more susceptible for injuries. What you need is prevention. What you need is to make sure that your body is as much bulletproof, as much injury proof as it can be. And I'm sorry to say that warming up, cooling down, do some kind of stretches and rest is just like putting out a fire. These are not the real solution. So let me tell you the real solution. The real solution is going holistic. And I know there is no surprise me talking about this, but hear me out for 1 second. So let me ask you this. If your body is calibrated to the optimal level, do you think your body would be stronger or weaker? What does it mean? Calibrated to the optimal level means if your body works in the absolute best way, if nothing holds you back, if there is nothing which takes you down, there is nothing that weakens you, if everything works perfectly in your body, do you think that would be more or less susceptible you for a new injury? You would get much stronger, and I see this from my experience as well. But let me ask you this. Do you think if you calibrate your mindset to the optimal level, optimal is the absolute best level, do you think that would make your body actually more or less susceptible for new injuries? Let me help you out, and this comes from my years of experience as well. Your mindset is actually helping your body to get injury proofed. And let me ask you this. Do you think if your nutrition and information intake is optimized, if it's the absolute best level, do you think that would help your body and mind to perform the absolute best and make you less or more susceptible for injuries? You have guessed it right. If your body is in an optimal level, if your mindset is in an optimal level, and if the support system, your nutrition and the information are all at the highest, the most optimum, the optimal level, that is your guarantee that you are going to have less injuries, you are going to be less susceptible for injuries, that you can get this kind of invisible shield around you that will help you to stay injury-free for longer. So it's body, mind, and nutrition. Again, what we are talking about, the whole system. It's not just your body, not just your mindset, and not just nutrition. You need to pay attention. You need to integrate all three into your daily life in order to make your body as less susceptible, as less prone to injuries as you can get. And the only way you can achieve that is by going holistic, by integrating your body, your mind, and the nutrition into one system that you actually involve in your daily life. So today, I know these are not good news what I brought to you. There were 4,123 injuries across Europe in the top 5 teams, and there were 915 just here in the Premier League. That means statistically you can be, I hate this word, expect, you are not expected whatsoever. If you just keep the old system, the outdated methods, then there is a good chance that you can have 2 major injuries during one season. But that system is outdated, that system is going out, and there is a new system, the whole system, the holistic system coming in, where you realize you need to integrate your body, mind, and nutrition into one in order to make your body as injury-proof as you can get. Talking about that, I know there is a lot of elements which should go into body and mind and nutrition. So I'm working on a free masterclass where I'm going much more deep into this topic. It's coming out, I think it's on the 8th of April, so a little bit later. But if you have 30 minutes, that masterclass will definitely worth your time, because then you can prevent some pretty nasty injuries by keeping in mind what holistic is about and keeping in mind this new system now is going to make your body and mind and nutrition work much more efficiently and effectively. So tomorrow I'm going to talk about the triangle of health, which is actually the most important concept what you can ever learn and what you can ever take into your life. And this information is not just for now. This is not just a one-off. This applies for the rest of your life as well. So I see you tomorrow at 1:30 at UK time here again at the Holistic Edge Show. And thank you for being here today. Bye.